And Carlos, who has won multiple awards this year, using these artificial intelligence tools to put the proposal package together. And then in the next part, I'm going to show you how to do it. And then it's going to be your responsibility to create a simple Trello dashboard and show it to us in the community. So I'm going to tell you how to do it, then show you how to do it, and then you are going to do it yourself. Step 1. You're going to use this exact prompt here. You don't have to create the prompt from your mind. This is the prompt that you're going to use to ask ChatGPT to create your dashboard. Step 2. You're going to open your Trello account and you're going to follow the instructions that ChatGPT has produced. And then step 3, you're actually going to use the Trello dashboard to track your government contracts. That's it. I know, extremely simple. How did we even get here? It's that simple. So guys, let me show you exactly how it's done. A few things that I want to go through first. I'm going to unlock the challenge for everyone now. And the challenge is actually waiting for you over here. When you come into this challenge, there are a few things. There's going to be a video explaining everything I'm about to explain, and you're going to have this Trello cheat sheet, which I'm going to use right now to show you how we are going to create our tracking sheet. This is the cheat sheet with those 3 steps that I mentioned. This is the prompt that we're going to use. So you're going to want to open ChatGPT here. And you're also going to want to open Trello. Step 1, copy this prompt. Put it into ChatGPT like this. And just allow it to produce the results. And then I'll teach you how to decode and understand. Okay, so it starts off with the board setup. It says to track the progress of government contract solicitations from discovery through submission. That's the objective. The board is intended for internal use by project team, including project managers, proposal writers, and subcontractor liaison. Lists. It gives us the list. What on earth is a list? I'll show you what a list is. Now, when you head over to Trello, this is my dashboard here. You're going to want to create your dashboard. And the name of the dashboard could be your company name. I'm just going to put it as GovCon test. And then create. Here you are on a brand new dashboard where you're going to start to create the list. Now, every list is a phase in the process of the government contracting scheme. Every list is a phase. What are these phases that ChatGPT has drawn out for us here? The first one is solicitation review. The second one is subcontractor engagement. We have proposal development. We have quote tracking, proposal submission, post-submission follow-up. And here's the thing, you can add more to your list. ChatGPT is giving you a base. And if we follow these instructions carefully, this is what's going to happen. Because step 2 is building out your lists. I'm going to copy here, Control C, head into Trello, and I'm going to enter this name, Control V, add list. We've created the first phase of our government contracting tracking process, solicitation review. And we are going to do the same thing here. Subcontractor engagement. Next phase. Control V, add to list. Next phase, proposal development. Control C, then Control V, add to list. Quote tracking. Control C, Control V, add to list. proposal submission. Control C, Control V, add to list. And lastly, what we have here is post submission follow-up. Post submission follow-up. Control V, add to list. Okay. Now, I just want to know, up until this point, is this clear? If it's clear, throw a 1 in the chat. If it's not really clear, let me see a 2 in the chat, so I know that we are on the same page. Okay. I see a lot of 1s. That's fantastic. I see 1, 2. Divine. Oh, Gilbert, you need to see.
Can I ask a question?
Very quickly.
You're going by this really fast. Do you have videos to show us how to do this as the homework or the challenge?
Yeah. So this tutorial down in the challenge. I ask you this question. What? Can you hear me?
No, you're breaking up.
You're up and running right now. Go ahead. We can hear you now.
What kind of step 1 and step 2?
You're breaking up.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. What do you think you missed here? Because I've gone through 2 steps. Just let me know very quickly.
All of it is so fast. Do you have videos on this?
Okay, let me do this. Step 1. This is step 1 right here. Step 1, all you have to do in step 1 is grab this prompt, copy it, and throw it into ChatGPT. You don't need to edit it. You don't need to do any of that. This is going to be produced most of the time when you use this exact prompt. I've tested it multiple times. You're going to get a response like this. Once you get this response, the next thing you want to do is open up Trello. Immediately you open up Trello, you're going to create your own dashboard. And when you create the dashboard, you're going to create your lists. So a list is the phase in the government contracting process from solicitation review all the way to your submission and follow-up. And that's what we did here. But again, the video is available in the classroom section for your challenge. All these lists have been created.
That was my question.
Best practices. Now, I'll tell you something about number 3. Best practices. These go into more advanced features on Trello, but I don't want to focus on this today. What I want to focus on is getting you to this point where you're able to build out your tracking system. Now, what happens after you've built out this tracking system? What do you do with it? I'm going to show you a few things here with Trello. There are these things called cards. And I want you to think about a card like the solicitation you're currently working on. And this card is going to go through a journey from being reviewed to being submitted and possibly won. Now, you can decide that you want to add the list win, add that list, loss, add that list. This is totally up to your preference. But you want to make sure you cover the review, subcontractor engagement, prep, proposal development, all the way to win and loss. I'm going to be showing you an example now of how you're going to use these cards to actually begin to track your contracting process. Let's say I went on to sam.gov and I was looking at something in janitorial. Okay, so I'm just going to pick something at random here. Custodial services, Indiana, washing. Okay, cool. How many attachments do we see here? Let me see if I can access these attachments. Okay, I'm going to download all attachments. What do we have here? It's a zip file. Very quickly, we're going to waste time there. Okay. Okay, DC Armory Janitorial Services. I'm going to download 2 of the attachments here, for example. Let's say I've decided that this is the contract that I want to pursue. I'm going to copy the name of this contract, go into my Trello account. Very quickly, I'm going to add card and add the name. And if I wanted to, I could also collect the link. And Trello is going to do something here where when we add the link and we attempt to add the card, you see what happens? Now we have the link and we have the name of the contract. This is a card. This is what we refer to as a card. When you click on edit card, or rather when you click on the card, it's going to take you to this interface. And here, this is where all the magic happens, okay? This is where you can begin to create a profile for this solicitation. What are the things that you can do here? You can attach some of those documents that you downloaded. Like this, we click on attachments, and then we're able to come in and attach a couple of documents. I just picked a few documents, and right now it's uploading the files. Here we go. You have all the documents here for that one solicitation. You can write notes. Talked to 5 subs and no quotes. Okay. You have your notes. This card is going to serve as a solicitation. You're going to move it around. Let's say it's time for you to start engaging with subcontractors. You put it in the subcontractor phase or the subcontractor engagement phase. You collect your quotes. You could also be preparing your proposal. You move it there. You've submitted the proposal. Great. You move it there. You won. Great. But here's where this really gets cool. If you called me one day and you said, hey, Godwin, I've been doing this for a while. I'm unable to win any contracts. I would say, okay, show me your Trello dashboard. And if we see on your Trello dashboard, oh, you've submitted 1 contract in the past 7 months, then we're going to revisit your strategy. But this way, every solicitation has a story. If you let's say, didn't win, you add it in the notes. After a period of time, what you're going to notice is that you have data on what is working and what's not working. At the beginning, it's going to feel a bit strange. But as you continue, you're going to have the ability to track each section of your solicitation process. I'm seeing a lot going on in the chat. Glorimar, is there anything there I need to pay attention to?
No, we're handling him.
Handling it? Okay, kick it.
And we got it.
Okay,
Everybody's up to speed already.
wonderful. Now, in terms of tracking your government solicitation with Trello, I want to revisit the steps again. Because for me, what's going to be really good for me is seeing that you can create this and begin to use it. The first step is to use this prompt to get the instruction guide to building out the tracking dashboard. This is the result you're going to often receive when you use this prompt. I've tested it. I've changed it around to make sure that you always get this result. And once you have this result in front of you, remember the lists. There's a lot going on here. Ignore all of this. The first thing you want to focus on is A, B, C, and D. You want to add them to each side so your solicitation journey goes from left to right. You can also learn more advanced skills on how to use Trello, but again, the focus today is building this simple project management system that allows you to track your progress and even your team's progress. For example, if you wanted someone to join if I wanted Carlos, okay, I want Carlos to also look at this contract because this is an important one. We need to get it done. I'm going to add him to the contract. He's going to get a notification and know that he's going to have to work on this. So this is the point of the tracking for teaming reasons and also for measuring your progress. Now, this is what I have for Trello tracking. I'm open for questions. James, does it have to be in that specific order?
Yeah. Yeah, I was asking it, does it have to be in that specific order? Does it matter? Because I know you said that you trialed and tested it. You want to move from left to right. So is it that specific order that you just kind of like moving things around, or is kind of like up to you?
It is up to you. Left to right for me seems like we have the solicitation review. We're done with it. We move over to subcontractor engagement. So every time I open this, I know that these are the contracts I'm working on. I'm engaging with my subs. But if subcontractor engagement was here, it doesn't really make a difference, right? Do what is best orderly for you. But I give you a base. I give you a foundation to begin to have ideas. But I recommend at the start, follow the instructions through and through. Have that experience of doing this.
Also, too, last question. I know I asked this in a while ago, but is this being recorded, or this is just a 3-day thing here?
It's being recorded. Yes, right now. But we don't provide the recording. Just to make that clear. Okay.
So if it's not being recorded, I mean, I'm sorry, since it's being recorded and we don't have access to it, the recordings that you do provide, those are the ones that we use to go over this.
Yes. So if you go into the school section, you're going to have this recording. And by the way, here's what I'm going to do now that these questions keep coming up. I'm actually going to keep the recording of each session here every day. But this community is going to be deleted. So you can watch the recording after, but then it's going to be gone with the entire community. So I'll do that. But any more questions regarding some of the things that we visited today? Let me get back to the Zoom. Okay, fantastic. Now, let's move on to 3. So we can get through this. Use color-coded labels to quickly identify the status of each card. Red for urgent, green for completed, blue for in progress. And then we have checklist due dates. Now I'm going to go a bit deeper into these cards. For example, each contract has a specific due date. So you want to be able to apply that to Trello so you can get a notification when the due date is coming near. Trello, this is the thing that Trello does that, for example, a Microsoft Excel doesn't do, where you have to go in and actually check those dates and maybe make notes or set reminders. But here, we're able to come in, dates. The due date is, we can put this for 5th of December and send due date reminder a day before. At the time of the due date, you have those options. So now the idea of, oh wait, my due date, I'm not really sure about it, you're actually going to get it in the email. So that way you stay organized. But also ChatGPT is going to go through, as we already went through attachments, checklists. So use the checklist within the card to track completion of key tasks like a draft review, compliance checks. So you want to use the checklists. And we have the checklist right here. So with the checklist, you can add in anything you want. Subcontact, add, checklist, quotes. I'm just going to put in some random so you can see how robust this would become. So we have subcontact. We have these checklists that you can tick and untick, you can delete, you can add items under them to make notes on them. Due dates, we visited that. Attachments, we visited that. Filters. So utilize filters to view cards based on labels, due dates, or assigned team members, adding in quick navigation and task prioritization. And then integrations. Here we're stepping into paid territory where you're going to be paying for Trello to then begin to integrate other softwares. Member assignment, you can assign work to a team member, and monitoring and evaluation. So you're going to regularly review your Trello board, your team meetings, and you're going to ensure that all the tasks are on track and to address the bottleneck issues. Now, all that, you can go deep into that, but without those features, you have a visual representation of your entire contracting process from solicitation review down to wins, losses, or post-submission follow-up. Yeah, just saw. All right. All right, guys, that's today's challenge. I want to be able to see you either use Loom to create your own dashboard. You can change the aesthetic. The aesthetic is not something that's, for example, let me see. You can make a template out of this. You can change the cover however you please. But if you are the kind of person who is more visual, remember that these cards all represent your solicitation. So as you have these cards around your tracking system, you know exactly what you need to be doing next. You know exactly where you need to be. And at the end of 2, 3, 4 months, we can come back to your Trello dashboard and say, this is the activity I've done. This is what I've won. This is what I've not won. And this is how I can improve. But the point of tracking this is to ensure that you're measuring your progress as you go. I'm focusing a lot of attention on this tracking because this is the foundation for everything. Everything else that we're going to be doing is going to have to be put into this Trello dashboard. So each time you have something to show that this has been your level of activity. Guys, that is it for project management with Trello. Told you it's going to be really, really simple. But again, I want to hear from you. Please throw in any other questions. I think when we see the chat, chat has been okay. Most of the questions here in the chat have been answered. Is there anyone else who has a question right now before we head into closing and talking about the challenge for tomorrow?
I think should talk to them about, because I know some of them had a couple questions in regards to, so the Trello board, it is your own personal notebook. So talk to them as how they can create different tabs. So if they have 100 different proposals, and that's what we want each one of you to actually get to, how can they just go ahead and create that one and transfer it to? So if you want to show them the one that we have in there, so like that they could see that once someone responds, or they move it to the next level. I know some of them may actually understand a little bit better, but remember, you want to create one board. You don't have to create different boards, but you want to create different tabs in which you now have that proposal and you move it from tab to tab in order so you could see the progress on where you are, or if you lost, or if you won the proposal.
Right. Just check out what we have here, Carlos and I. We just started actually using this Trello dashboard for the contracts that we're working on. And for example, if you go into this biodiesel fuel tank system.
And Lucy as well has a question so she will be next. And yes, Carlos is right. Just to maintain yourself, if you're a very visual person and you want to see everything in one board, that is great. I'm more as a project manager that I manage everything in different boards just because I don't mix projects. But having everything in one board, I think it will be the best approach for you, just because you can see all the contracts there and just open one different card, for each one of the proposals you are submitting. And actually you have everything there where you're visualizing everything. So that could be a great approach. And I think Godwin is going to show you an example of how he has his, so that way you guys can see how it will look like the end product.
Now, one thing I like to do is I like to have a very detailed description on what is in each solicitation, because when the volume starts to build up, you may forget. So I like to open it immediately and see that, okay, this is the biodiesel fuel tank system design and installation project. Okay. I know the issuing agency. I have a brief of the scope of work here. And I create these descriptions using ChatGPT after I've attached all the documents. I want to get this clear description with the evaluation criteria below. And again, you can see that there are attachments here. But another thing I do, just to help Carlos to actually have a good overview of the entire thing, I put something called POD, is the project overview document. You're going to see this in a bunch of our work. The POD is really going to help you see everything about this contract. Let me just download it and show you what that looks like. I have it in my doc here. For example, now the POD is a document that contains the overview of the project. The scope of work, I mean, extremely detailed down to how many units, and I produce this with ChatGPT as well. And the documentation required, timeline, performance standards. But where this gets interesting, and this is how working with a team can really help, I also give a list of subcontractors that we can begin to reach out to. So if you have a team member where you're doing most of the research on the contracts and subcontractors, and they're doing the reaching out to subcontractors and even writing the proposals, these documents really help you to start something. You know the scope of work. You have quotation email templates. So we use something called the ADA framework. It's a marketing framework. ADA stands for attention, interest, desire, action. So the way this looks on an email is like this. Attention, we can use the supplier name. SCLAC National Accelerator Laboratory is seeking a qualified supplier to provide pre-terminated connection cables in various lengths to support our communication system. Desire. These cables must comply with the Buy America Act and meet ULNFPA specifications to ensure alignment with SLAC operation standards. And action. Could you provide a detailed quote? Now, I'll tell you this. I like to use the ADA framework because it puts all the information into sort of a structured form. But what happens here is that you can begin to edit and change, but this gives you the foundation. And then we have a follow-up message, because a lot of the time one email will not work. You're going to want to have two emails. And then even with the two emails, you also still want to call. But this is more subcontractor discussion, which we're going to handle tomorrow. But what I'm showing you here is how we create this project overview document that contains a detailed scope of work, emails that we can send to subs, evaluation criteria, and doable subcontractors that we can reach out to.